Hello and welcome to Low-Code Campfire. This is episode number 253 for Friday, July 24, 2026. I am Dale Warner, Head of Support for Plantain App. Today's main topic, coming soon, very soon, custom views and anything else you want to talk about. This is an event that we do Fridays at 10 a.m. Central Time, where we get together and talk about all things Plantain App, what's going on in your projects, any challenges that you're facing. We hope that you'll bring something to show, but most of all, we want you to know all skill levels are welcome in this meeting, beginner to expert. Please do join us live. We record all of these and put them on YouTube. YouTube.com/PlantainApp has 250 odd hours now of this training content. Wrong button. We run this agenda week by week where we stop and say hello because we're a friendly group, and then we go around the campfire. We'll do anything first call, anything you've submitted in advance. Here's a hint, nothing submitted in advance today that I saw. But then we'll hit some of our different community websites and feature requests and things like that. Got some good things to show on our Campfire website today. After an hour or so, we go into Afterglow segment. That's where we turn off the recording, if I can find the button, and we enjoy hanging out for a few more minutes. So do engage with us today. You can submit questions and topics in advance, support@plantainapp.com. I'll review those, put them on the agenda, and we'll talk about them on Friday. Hello, team.
Hello,
Hi,
Dale.
happy Friday.
Thank you to you as well. As promised, we start with first call. Did anyone come with something you wanted to talk about? Not so much.
No, not today.
No, not this time, I think. I always remember halfway in.
Well, and when you do, we'll take it. But in the meantime, we've got stuff to talk about. So maybe we start there. I was so encouraged to find, let's see. I guess we can do a little, hello, Don. I guess we can do a little bit of announcement thing if I can find it here. On Wednesday, we're going to do a low-code cafe. That'll be episode number 198 if you're looking for it. If you hear about this in replay and want to go look for it, Cafe 198. We're going to be talking about auto-scaling web farm. This is something that we've gotten into recently with one of our big clients. And so our objective for this is to learn when web farm and auto-scaling should be used. We'll cover the Plantain App implications of that and next steps, how you can. Um, this is not going to be a follow this recipe and you will have an auto-scaling web farm, but we'll show you that it's possible. We'll show you that we can help you get there if that's something that you need. So that's the plan for that one, and you should get an email more about that later on today. Any questions or anything particular that you might like to see that you want to bring to our attention for that? We're still in the planning stages.
That looks exciting, Dale. I'm looking forward to that.
Good. Well, and this is Razvan Stan, who has hosted several times in the last 6 months, will be our main presenter, and but I will be here, so together between us we can get this content out. So hope that you enjoy that. Don, we're still in the first call area. If you came with something that you wanted to talk about.
No, sorry, just running a little late this morning.
Excellent. So I'm going to run through a few things, and we'll get to show and tell, and maybe we'll get a discussion started here somewhere. We didn't. I have not done anything on our documentation in a while, nor has anyone else. So that's nothing to present there. Interesting topics in our community forum. I saw that there was one. There was a topic that hadn't been addressed yet. And I don't know if I have an answer for this one. Yeah. So our friend Wes asked about trying to do string replace to change um, a URL to encode um, special characters, and I didn't have a great answer for this one. Anyone um, either have a struggle with this or an answer for this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Ben has addressed this with a custom Razer token. I didn't want to speak for him. He's kind of out of pocket right now, but by next week he won't be, I think.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll bring this back if it surfaces. I think you could probably get there. It's a little bit tough. You could probably get there with regex regex or string replace. Um, build or building a workflow token. Lots of different ways to or workflow token will let you get into JavaScript, which would probably be pretty easy to make that happen. But I think the difficulty is depending on the, the the parts of the understanding the URL that you're dealing with and understanding what is actually part of the URL and what's string parameters that you're trying to encode. If they're parts and pieces, you can't just do the whole thing. But I suspect if you're in control of it, you'd be able to do it without too much effort.
This seems like a topic that AI could really help out in a short manner.
Yeah, it looks, so I wanted to make sure I could find this before I commented, and I was scurrying away here and I did. It looks pretty simple. I haven't tested this, but I have a token, called encode for URL, and I'm pretty sure I use it somewhere. Um, and I'm going to paste the script in the chat when I find the meeting. But um,
Good.
where did the meeting go? This is the problem with too many screens, right?
Uh, I, yep. By the way, to that end, I've gone to using this cursor when I'm not. Has anybody used this? When you got three screens, you can tell what screen you're on and um,
Oh, is that one of those? Is that one of the
Power Toys.
power toys? Yep.
Yep. So
Wow, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
for multi-screen, I find it tremendous. I don't know whether it would be distracting as a standard as a cursor in a meeting like this, but um, you'd be able to find my cursor, find my pointer.
So Dale, if you want to test that out live, I have no problem with it. Or
Um, I I think I'll use this to answer. Well, I mean, it can't hurt anything, but sure, why not? This
While you're
You're
is
very
looking
brave,
that up,
Dale.
where do you find that power tool that you're talking about?
there's something called Power Toys,
yeah.
and if you dig down into Power Toys, well, let's see if I can bring this up.
It's a Microsoft product.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes.
see. All right.
So not to be afraid of. So here's the Power Toys preview. And I think it might be mouse utilities. So there's Find My Mouse, which is kind of cool. That's this effect. So that's one way to do it. And then I don't know if mouse highlighter might be. Nope. Mouse pointer crosshairs. There it is. So I've got a shortcut defined for it and a definition of somewhere here you can define what it looks like. There it is. So I'm picking red and very thin um, with a little bit of center radius so that if you change the center radius, you'd see it gets very, very. Oh no, that's opacity. Where was that? I don't know. Crosshairs. You can see that starts to get away versus get very close all the way down, all the way into the middle.
Very
So
cool.
I'll give you a little bit of.
Yeah, I'm constantly losing the mouse with 3 screens. But with a Mac, you just shake the mouse, rattle it back and forth, and it gets big
Yep.
For a second there, just to help you spot it.
Well,
but I like that crosshair effect. That's
yeah,
cool.
and there's tons of other things that that come with Power Toys that I use. One of them is being able to drag layouts where you want them, and so you can see I've got some highlights here on my screen as far as where things are going to drop, and then if I let it go there, it takes that shape. So you can predefine your window sizes, and then and placement. So if you have a standard layout, that's kind of cool. And now Patrick has
I decided it might be easier for you if I just gave you a full export instead of forcing you to.
It was. So let's see if I can save this on my downloads, and then let's do something with it. So we'll go to Campfire. Tell you what, we'll leave this up so that in case we decide we have an answer. Campfire and configuration. So I have this content that you sent. I'm going to copy this and go into tokens and import. And this is called encode for URL.
It should be under your helper namespace.
It's working. And let's see what if he has given us an example. Nope. So what would be a good example?
Something with a space in it, and what else?
Thought I could just jump in and find one here.
Or just take a URL that has a bunch of parameters in it, and so because like return URL, that's when you're creating a return URL, you want to encode it, right? That's one use example of wanting to encode something on the fly.
Let's in Campfire. I will try and go here, but go incognito. Should give me one. Has some few parameters. So
that seems to work pretty well. It encoded everything. So if you took the what you copied before that and pasted it in there, what you should get is the same. It should be the same string that you had in the return URL parameter, and after the login. So the previous paste that you pasted into your incognito window, try that in there, and it should give you the same value as the return URL value you got, or something pretty close at least.
So it's
So that
encoded.
encoded the entire thing. You know, what you would in a return URL, you'd probably just want the relative URL to be encoded, but yeah. But that looks right. %2f configuration, %2f tokens. I mean, it's encoding, so.
Yep. Good. All right. So I will set this aside and answer Wes sometime. So let's put that out of the way. Nice.
As you can see from the my previous chat, it's a pretty simple Razer script. There's not much to it.
Well, and that's it. I think, and some of the, like with many of the things that we do with the Campfire website, just having recipes that are available to draw from, so that you don't waste time when you bump into one of these things that you need. So good.
Do you remember a recipe in there for maybe removing some special characters instead of encoding them, like an apostrophe or?
There was. I think Ben provided two different ones. In safe encode token string.
I think that's what I was thinking of for Wes.
Well, this
That's kind of what you want to do if you want to like actually make a token appear on in HTML, right? That's as opposed to being replaced. You want to,
Yeah, it would do
yes.
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was thinking of string contains. That was one of the ones that.
I can certainly look for these, Dale. I don't need to
All right.
use your time for that.
Cool. All right. On we go. And now on to the most important thing to discuss today, the field floater. This was in Campfire as a contribution by Mark Pulsing. So we talked about this last week. What do you think? Is this distracting? Make it go away. The field
I
floater.
initially like it.
Um, you can give it a module ID and click the button, and you get the field names. And these can be dragged. So, for example, you can say font icon choices and click and drag, and it shows up. So we were talking about the idea that anytime that you have fields in a form, and if you point to the action form with that module ID, it lists all of them. I assume, what do we have? Alphabetical order here? Nope. We have, must be layout order, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it's layout order or just top down.
Yep. So now we have this as an example that one could copy. And, if you pick in a different number, Mark has given us some different ones. And also there's a copy so that you can just come over here and paste if you don't want to drag and drop. So,
I was told that some browsers will not let you drag and drop from a floating tab to another tab.
Hmm.
But I've been using it with Chrome, but I guess I really haven't tested it with other browsers, but it works with the drag and drop for me.
So this is um, I haven't dug into this at all, so help me if I'm going off in the wrong places here. The field floater is wait, is everything self-contained within this button? Or
No, there's a little bit more JavaScript in the settings, the form settings.
so the form settings have some JavaScript. So there's some copy and paste of some JavaScript, and then
Hmm.
the floater button itself. So those would be the two things that you would need. That JavaScript
Yeah,
and
and I suppose I could have provided a form export that would have taken care of all that.
um, if somebody wants to spend 15 minutes, they can have this on theirs too. I think it's a perfect contribution.
Hmm.
So thanks for doing that. This was mentioned and put into our backlog as an idea for the Forms 2.0 product since we talked last. Um, we're going to work to get Forms 2.0 out as it is. It's not going to be just a first thing and then evaluate whether some kind of a field floater would be useful. So,
Dale, I also have a fully JavaScript version that doesn't require a form at all or a
mhm.
module. That would be, it could easily be just dropped into a theme or a product like PlantNet.
All right, you heard it here, folks. For a mere $2,000, you can get this. Cool. I'm pretty sure that was the only contribution since last time. Yep. So, but I think a very good one. Thanks for doing that.
Thanks, Dale.
All right. Um, so there were several things um, that I just want put on the show and tell list, and I think I would like to start since I called the episode "Custom Listing Views." I wanted to show this off. Um, As discussed previously, we go through a QA process for our cumulative updates. So the one that is in live QA right now, being used on our internal systems, the one that will likely be released on Tuesday, will include custom views. And so I have here where I tested it, this is just a data table view, and then we have the My Custom view. You see I've got my own icon and I can click into it and have my own layout. Um, the behind the scenes for this on uh, on the views tab, there is we have the My Custom view, which I've added. You can add as many views as you want to a listing. Views are tagged to the views that you create are tagged to the listing that you create them on. So they're not global. They're just something that you set up with that particular listing. And if you want to move them, you can copy them. But when you create them, it's a fill-in form that has the name, the title, description, icon, a sample of I mean, you can completely wipe this out, but it gives you an idea of what um, the item HTML could be, and the idea that um, this is the structure that you use. So any data element that you want to include, you use the double braces to specify the name of the element. The place where you want the buttons to show up is a special one, and you can use that to say where you want to put your buttons, and then any other HTML that you want to do. So, and then there's So there's header HTML, footer HTML, and you can add a JavaScript as well. So on mine, I and you still have some of these standard parameters that come with them, but mine is called the view name, which is which can't be changed. You create it; it actually creates a file. So this you can name it one time. It has to be a folder safe file name, so it limits you to specific characters, not spaces, things like that. But then you can call it internally. The view title is anything that you want, and you can give it a description so that you can see that in the future if you're trying to figure out whether to enable that. You get to pick an icon, the normal selection from Font Awesome. Provide optional header HTML, the item HTML. So I got AI to look at my data fields and build a arbitrary one for users. Told it where to put the buttons. And then added some footer HTML and the script that's going on there. Anyway, questions, reactions?
This looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Oh, man.
It looks pretty straightforward and is all right there.
Yeah, what would be the use case for the JavaScript field? I mean, I'm sure I can think of it if I. So how does that script run?
This it runs once. It does not have access to tokens. So I think it would be if you want, for example, people in the past have used JavaScript to highlight or do something on the row, so examine the content and highlight an important record or something like that. Of course, now the recommended setup for that would be to use the various classes that are provided at the row level, but I would assume you could use it for that.
Could it be used also for like developing a dynamic view that like a left to right scrolling thing or something like that? Is that a possible use for it? Just
I don't know. I can tell you that if we look at it here, let's do an inspect, and docket. We look at the console. We can see that we got multiple records, but it runs once. So this script looks to me like it's being injected once at the conclusion of displaying the listing. So whatever you want to do with it is. And I don't really know the use case, but at least they thought to include it.
Mm-hmm.
For fun, I was going to look at, we have buttons that aren't showing up very well, so I'm going to change. I have a details button here that I'm going to change the class so it's very visible. All right, so now we have you can see our details button. So in our view, I'm going to try to move that around. So we've got it here. So now I'm curious what happens if you have two of them. I haven't tested this, so if it breaks, don't hold it against me. Nope. It only it resolves one of them, so you can't repeat your buttons, but you can put them where you want. So that's interesting. So let me fix that so I don't. Yeah. So this should show up automatically when you apply the next cumulative that should be released this next week. And then just click New View and you're off and running.
New view.
All right. Um, I had this on the list last week, and let me close down some things, and then so passkey. I mentioned it last week. I had to do some UAT work, making sure the passkey, some things that we were changing for passkey in Forms 2.0 was still working, and then it made me realize I've never used passkey. So I thought I built a very simple implementation of it, and Patrick did a whole hour on it, and probably more than a year ago. Um, and the implementation is the tricky part, how to actually put all this together to make a nice flow for your users. But the core of it, being able to log in with a passkey, is really quite cool. So I'm going to bring this up in a different browser just so that I'm not logged in and show what it looks like. So here I am, not logged in.
By the way, I keep expecting to see an implementation of this on console, but I haven't yet.
Huh. Well, I'll just put that right to the front of the list. So there's a login with passkey. I've already registered my browser with this, and it pops up and shows me on the browser level, it's asking me to identify myself. And as soon as I do, I am logged in. So I guess that's proof that it's working. What does it look like inside? Now I'm back to my browser where I'm logged in as myself. The create passkey form has two buttons on it. So I have a create passkey button. If I am logged in, it shows up as create passkey. So I'm able to create a passkey if I don't have one. Patrick, you may know the answer to this question. Are passkeys supported for the super user? I'm suspecting maybe not.
No, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're already logged in, you see this button. So again, this gets into how you want to structure your flow so that when you want to reveal the ability to create a passkey. But when you do, there is a create passkey action. You give it a name, which is going to be visible on a listing, but I'm not sure that it's relevant. there's some options about attestation and authenticator and resident key, and so you can work your way through those and also watch Patrick's Low-Code Cafe on the topic where he talks about these some, but they are they're somewhat documented here, and you can see in my case I've done with no attestation preference. The authenticator
And
attachment is
there's also links there under each one that take you to the standard documentation, like the documentation. So where it says read this for a deep dive, each of those links takes you to the documentation for the standard that is used
so
for
you can
passkey.
so
Yeah.
that you can understand the choices. But
Yeah.
as you can see, I've clicked preferred for most of them and none for the first one. And um, you can do some on success and on error things, although these are not unlimited action stacks, but you can do something. So with basically this one action, it's going to pop up, activate your browser to, and I don't know if it's just the browser, but the browser plus your authentication system to get you to say that you do in fact want to create a passkey on your browser. At that point, it's stored, and it's since it's a two-part key, and so it's also stored on the system as a in the in a grid. I'm sorry, I'll need back up over here. So we can see it's I did a listing. I'll show you how this is configured, but you can see the passkeys that exist for this particular user, and then allow them to be deleted if you want, for example, to remove the ability for that user to log in by passkey. So there's a side that gets created on the browser, a side that gets created on the site. Anyway, back to my create passkey form. So the very simple action to create passkey, to log in with passkey, my button also uses just one action, log in with passkey, and very, again, very few options to specify. So you can see it's very easy to implement this button set up with user verification preferred. Got me logged in. Did you have a comment, Patrick?
No.
And so then again, the difficulty is in the how you structure this. When do you reveal the ability for them to create a passkey? How do you detect if they have a passkey or want to log in with a passkey? Um, should, once they've created one, not showing it again, all these different parts and pieces. And I don't know, Patrick, I know that you've done this. Do you have any thoughts on how difficult or have any thoughts on the flow of how to reveal this? And if not, if you don't want to, you don't mean to put you on the spot. And you went on mute on
Sorry.
me.
Yeah. Somehow my headset and Zoom got out of sync with each other. So yeah, it's if you to get a really smooth flow, there is you do have to do some you know some pretty not too bad, but you do have to do some implementation. One of the things that I will just give you a clue on is that one of the tricks that I used was the on success actions for the create passkey, and I think I did it on login also. I'd have to go and review my implementation to be sure of all this, but one of the tricks I used was refreshing the very same form, but passing parameters to it, just one action that does that. And then on the initialization events on the form, I capture that parameter that I'm passing into the form, and then do some more things because there's some limitation as to how much you can accomplish on the on success actions. So to get around that, what I did, and that has nothing to do with how PlantinHat built this. It's just because of how passkey works. That's what the limitation is. So to get around that, in at least one case, I just simply added um, reload the form action. Whatever that's named. I can't remember what it's named right now. But and then I passed a single parameter saying that passkey created or something like that. And then on the form reload in the events, I capture that parameter and then have a stack of actions that runs subsequent to the passkey being created.
Very useful. This action also reminds that get $r passkeys supported is available as a token. So you can keep from offering a create passkey button, for example, or log in with passkey if they're not even supported on that browser. So,
although at this point, I think it'd be pretty rare to find a browser or device that doesn't support a passkey. So, but
sure.
Yeah, I still use the token anyway. But
mm-hmm. On the grid that I had here, I just wanted to point out there is a data source called user passkeys, and you have to provide, it looks like, as far as I know, you must provide the user that you want to reveal the passkeys for. And so again, this could be used, here's my place where I passed my user ID for this test user. My user ID is revealing this is all the fields that are available with the passkey. And there is a delete passkey option. So if you wanted to remove the, or rather give the user the ability to say, I want to erase my passkey from the site, you could reveal these, perhaps the name of the passkey or something like that, and have a delete button on here, and you could do that. Yeah. So the reason that I got involved in testing all this again was having to do with Forms 2.0. The Forms 2.0 implementation of the passkey actions is still a work in progress, so I haven't retested all of this in Forms 2.0, but we will. So anyway, that's that. And then I wanted to show our Forms 2.0 layout a little bit more. We've been working on this, and we've been touching on Forms 2.0 pretty much every week. So I have a pretty much empty form here, and if I wanted to use a layout container and put my fields in, notice that right now they're defaulting to a vertical layout. So if I start adding fields, still have to think my way through this. So we add a text box and maybe a phone number, and phone number, interestingly enough, you have to provide an initial country. So we'll get United States. All right, now it's going to let me save. And so we have this vertical layout that was the default. If we want to go to, there's the area where we're working is to add a manual layout. And I think I've put forward the idea this, maybe we call this the horizontal layout, but and the manual layout gives you the ability to say how many columns do you want to have. So for example, if and we're thinking of defaulting this value to 4. So what that means is that you end up with 4 columns, and you can position them where you want within those 4 columns because you said 4. Um,
So you were saying just a second ago, you almost think it should be called horizontal. Is there a difference right now between the horizontal layout and the manual layout?
Yes, the horizontal layout does a layout that is that takes the fields that you have and splits them evenly across,
Oh, okay.
yeah, however many fields that you have into the layout. And in my estimation, and I welcome your opinions, I can't imagine using this. That if you only have one field, let's say that you wanted, or let's say you're going to capture first name, last name. So let's do that. Let's delete this and save and call this first name. So if we add a first name field, we get something that takes up 100% of the width. If we do first name, last name, let's add, and actually we now have a field copy, so that's nice, a clone. And we'll call this last name. So in my experience of form building, I can't imagine using this because the fields are, we've got 2 fields, but it's taken up 100% of the screen. And there's no ability to resize these.
So if you add another field, it's going to make it into thirds.
Correct. Let's get middle name into the mix here. So we'll do middle name, and we can rearrange them. So would you be satisfied with this 3-column layout, or that takes up the full width, or would you start repositioning things? Would you want control over the width of things?
And immediately want to reposition
Does it
things.
Yeah, exactly.
To change the width or to reposition?
Yes.
Um, yeah, because for me to if I know that I wanted to capture the name and it's only this much, perhaps I only want it on the first half of the screen, but the things below might be wider and have more fields or whatever. And I probably want to lay them out in a nice grid. So let's say the next set of fields has we're going to collect 2 things. So let's do another one. We'll do a layout here, another layout, and this is going to be my money layout. Doesn't matter. I'm naming it just for convenience, but let's say that we have we want to collect gross salary, gross income, and then we also want to do taxable income. If we put this money layout into horizontal, what to say required? We want US dollars. Save. So if I had 3 on this one and 2 on this one, I would. I'm thinking I would go with a 4-column layout that might let so that in manual mode it would. I mean, I would want things to align and to be similar size instead of just taking up the full width.
Mhm.
So in that case, it would be manual and 4. So it might be something like this. And then this one might be also manual and 4 that we could then line them up so that they seem to have some correspondence with the thing above.
With the manual layout, can you put more than one field in a column?
No, but I was being arbitrary in saying 4. We could go with a standard 12-column layout that we've had in the past, and then you could get differing lengths. So this is, this is, you can now choose different sizes. So 1, 2, 3. So if you add more columns, you can get differing positioning. Right?
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, can you drop, like, what happens if you pull another field onto the form and try to put it in the same column as one of the existing fields?
No, it will not work.
Just reject it.
Well, it'll move things around. Um, so it's coming in as full width, which I think the default should be 1. We're going to change that, but when you add more to it, like we can add it to the end here. We can put it wherever we want to, but you can't. If you try to put it on where something else is, it's pushing things out of the way. See, interestingly, it dropped that. Let's see if it renders that way. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, that was my question. So that actually, I can see that being really okay. So that seems useful to me, and maybe that's what the horizontal one doesn't do. But I think that could be really useful, um, especially because you have the option to top align all the fields as well, right? So
Top
yeah,
a lot. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, +1 to me. I would definitely want to stack fields in one column.
the
I
thing
can
is
see
that
a couple of
there's a
check boxes in left column and a text box in the right column, and would like to.
and you can do that with different layout blocks as well. I get that. Or
yeah.
yeah, put another layout container within the same layout container. But I'm just looking for, you know, the simplest way to accomplish things. And I think that stacking within the same column, like you just did with that could be useful.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is another way to do that then. Whoops, let's put this in the layout container and put this in the layout container. So yeah, there is a way to force that.
I like that option.
Let's see how that lines up when we look
I
at
can
it.
imagine something tall on either the left or the right side of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it does give you some options that we did not have previously. So vertical with and combinations of vertical and horizontal containers.
Hmm.
But again, if we change this one to horizontal, then we get
Yeah.
just taking up the third automatically. Uh, so that you've seen this a little bit, can you think of a use case where, I mean, is the horizontal, the one that's currently showing is horizontal, that evenly splits however many fields you have among across the width of available screen space? Is can you think
My
of a
question would be what that looks like on a phone when in that default mode. Or is there something you gain by doing it if
good
you're
question.
not using a full screen?
Um, and so now we've kind of come to the dividing line between what we've done and what we planned. The what what's that called? With the when it's is it reactive? What's the
Responsive?
hmm?
Did you say
Any
responsive?
responsive?
Responsive.
Thank you. That word was escaping me. When it's responsive, is a story that we're working on right now, and uh, the plan generally is to let you pick when you're in um, the development, the ability to choose what width of so mobile, small, medium, large kind of desktop layouts. And so you'll be able to choose which layout you're targeting, and that some parameters would let you save different um, choices depending on which layout that you're in. So how it, uh, but the point is, I can't tell you how responsive would work. So in a week or two, we should have a working demo, and then we'll bring it up again. But we are making we've got a plan for how responsive will lay out. So to your question, Jim, what would this look like in a mobile? I think right now it would not stack or change at all. It is a little bit. How about that? It
No,
is.
answering your
Yeah.
question, Dale, would we ever use the horizontal? I think that it would be like the lazy first choice, and then you'd quickly figure out, oh no, I need to customize that.
Mhm.
And then you'd be switching it over to the other mode. I think I agree with you. It would be used infrequently or close to never.
Yeah. So now we're down so I haven't seen the comment yet from our team. My recommendation was to uh, that horizontal as we have it wouldn't be used, and we should call what we have now as manual, call it horizontal. And if it were me, I would make that the default. I, I start thinking
Yeah,
in terms of
mhm.
laying things out sideways before I start thinking of laying things out vertically, but that's a preference, I think.
This is sort of a horse has already left the barn kind of a concept, a comment, but there's already a standard layout of section, row, column, and module, where, just apply that same layout model to this, and then I can, I have only one thing to think about. I don't have to think, oh, is this, your horizontal, your vertical, your manual, and how does that relate to the standard section, row, column, module layout?
When you say this, I'm sorry, the standard row section column.
Well, your basic page builder tools. start with, you have a section, and in that section, you can have multiple rows. In each of the rows, you can have multiple columns. In each of the columns, you stack modules.
So you're
And
talking about
that's
the pane layout of a form,
of a
of a
DNN site
page.
or any of the
Yeah.
other page builders of all of the different platforms out there. That's pretty much the standard hierarchy of layout, and just follow that exact same pattern. And I would lay my forms out the same way. Within the form, the form has a section, a row, a column, and in the column, multiple modules stack. Again, like I said, it's sort of
Yeah,
closing the barn door after the horse is out. You've already laid all this out, but
yeah, that yeah, I agree that we're quite committed to the idea of containers that can go one way or the other, and I think the design will allow you to get some very interesting layouts that you didn't have before, but it does require you to think in terms of the containers. And I struggled with it at first. It seems to be coming easier now. But since it's kind of infinite,
in this case, I attribute, or rather, what's the word? Um, Apply the concept of a container is a row, and in the row, I would just stick with the manual, and the row has, pick the number of columns you want in this row, pick the number of columns you want in the next row.
yeah.
And then you could stack, which we saw just now, which is perfect. So that's all I really need.
Good. There again, there are some things that you will be able to do with this. For example, um, well, achieve those. There are definitely layouts that you can achieve that you could not achieve with action form. So hopefully, you'll be able to get exactly what you're after. Okay. With that, not only did I talk about everything that I wanted to talk about, but we've done an hour. So I will say happy low coding. Thanks for joining us for this hour. We'll do it all again in 1 week. And thank you for spending your hour with us.
Thanks, Dale.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes.